All right. So, first step, heading into the deadline, expiring contracts and what we're dealing with there. In goal, Jari's up, Lindbergh's up, Primo's up. I think it's safe to say that we cannot trust Tristan Jarry beyond this season. He was good in the playoffs. Tristan Jarry is gone at the end of this year. Even he knows he sucked. He's not even looking for a $1 million extension. But he's likely gone. Philip Lindbergh has been really hit or miss. He's probably worth that, though, I would say. And then Caden Primo is also looking for a dirt cheap deal heading into next year. So, I think we will commit to keeping Philip Lindbergh. Honestly, I'm just going to give him what he wants. We'll commit to keeping Lindbergh beyond this year. We'll commit to keeping Caden Primo beyond this year because that's a no-brainer of a deal. And Alex DiOrio's up at the end of the year. He's going to have to go. Let's be honest. We have too many good goalies in the system. Defensively, Brian Dumoulin is up at the end of the year. Honestly, that's not a bad deal for what he wants. That's really not. He hasn't been incredible this year. But you could argue that there's really going to be nobody else that's better out there other than Brian Dumoulin. For that price, at least. I mean, if we look at defensemen who are up, Sanheim, Chernak, Dumoulin. I mean, Dumoulin will be right now aside from Sanheim or Chernak. And will either of them be willing to sign for that much money? For that little? In the grand scheme of things, I doubt it. I don't even know if Sanheim or Chernak will be UFAs. Let's see. Eric Chernak will be an RFA. And Sanheim is a UFA, but he's going to want all the money in the world. I do think re-signing Brian Dumoulin is in our best interest. I don't know if we'll sign him right now because it would involve the wheel spins and everything like that. But the game plan is to bring back Brian Dumoulin. And then we'll see about everybody else. On that right-hand side, Pavelski obviously will not be brought back. Not a chance in hell. Kapanen's still an RFA. We can make that decision later. On the left-hand side, Claude Giroux won't come back. Jason Zucker likely won't come back either, even though he's looking for a dirt cheap deal. Actually, you know, for a third liner, Jason Zucker hasn't been that bad. Maybe we'll look at keeping Zucker. Claude Giroux honestly hasn't been that bad, but man, you are playing next to Sidney Crosby and Jake Gensel. Like, he's having a better season than he did in Philly last year, but I don't think we could bank on Claude Giroux coming back. And then for centers, Malkin's up, Bluger's definitely gone. I'm keeping Gino here. Like, I'm staying loyal to Crosby, to Malkin, to Letang for as long as I can. So basically, the only guy on an expiring contract that I'm tempted to keep for forwards at least is Jason Zucker. And then Brian Dumoulin will probably stay as well. So, Coach, I haven't, because no offense, that sounds like the exact opposite of what I like to do. Plus, it would be very tough because you'll get in trouble for flipping people. Around the league, again, I have 2 more trades at my disposal this year. 2 more trades. Trading Tristan Jarry, there's no point. He has no value. He'll be here for the rest of the year. Whatever. We could even try to lose him on waivers. Defensively, there is value in Brian Dumoulin, but again, I just don't know if it's worth trying to move him. We literally can't move Chris Letang. Joseph and Marino stay. So for keeping Brian Dumoulin, I really don't think there's anything to do there defensively. But then on the wing, Pavelski does have some decent value. Again, it would be a complete write-off of one of our goals for the season, but he's not going to hit it anyway. Brian Rust is here, and we do have freedom to move Brian Rust, but I'd prefer not to for now. Could move Pavelski and Kapanen in the same deal. And Kapanen, again, is an RFA. Left-hand side, Claude Giroux's value is less than Sam Poulin. So, I mean, obviously, like Giroux, Aston Reese in the same deal would make a lot of sense. And then at center, I mean, moving Teddy Blueger as well wouldn't be the worst deal in the world. So we definitely have some pieces with value. The question is, what's out there for us to get? We don't have to trade for assets that are on a team's trade block, but it makes the most sense given the reduced value. And Anaheim, unfortunately, is looking to get rid of NHL-level talents, and we'd be looking for prospects at this stage. Arizona, same thing. God, Clayton Keller wouldn't be that bad, but he's making $7 million. Could we try to salvage Clayton Keller? I mean, 715 would be down to 3575 on 50%. Clayton Keller on half salary for $3 million. That's not bad. That's not bad. Because he's, I mean, again, his morale, he's in a morale crisis. And he's dual wing. He can play the right and left side. That might be worth the risk. The problem is it's a 6-year deal, but I believe IRL, he doesn't have a no movement or a no trade. And if he doesn't, that means we are free and clear to do whatever we want. He doesn't have any terms on the deal. So that is definitely one of our more interesting options, is trying to revitalize Clayton Keller. I don't dislike that deal at all. Very interesting. And Arizona has a shitload of cap space. So moving big money contracts over, not a big deal. Boston. Moving prospects like Lassell and John Beecher. You could argue Vakanainen's interesting. So if we look at Boston, they don't have a ton of cap, which could hurt. They also have Matejchuk, which isn't that bad. I'm going to write down $4 million cap space. I know Vakanainen's up there, but we could play him and see what the hell happens. Then again, we don't really have a spot open on our defensive side of things, but again, he doesn't even have that much value is the point. Buffalo, nobody that we'd want. Calgary, obviously nobody. I'll go back and look through goalies, by the way, as well. Carolina, nobody that we'd want. You could argue Teravainen. You can make an argument for Tavo, but I'd almost rather go for Clayton Keller. I feel like it's Keller or Teravainen, and it really should be Keller because Carolina has no cap space. Chicago, nobody that we'd want. Colorado, they have cap space. Problem is, I mean, like, Cout's almost an NHL. Kaut is an NHLer. Shane Bowers will probably make it next year. Oscar Olason's not that bad. I mean, Colorado's not that bad. And they have, what was it, about 7 million cap space? Yeah, 7 million cap space. That's not that bad. Columbus, Ristolainen, Sekera, Corrali, McDonald, absolutely not for any of them. Dallas is trying to move Ryan Suter, obviously not. Only reason you take on the remainder of that, oh my god, never mind. Only reason you take on that Suter deal is if his value was in the toilet and you could get a good draft pick back, but that value is still relatively high because of his overall versus the cap hit. Detroit's trying to move Braun and Brock McGinn, go figure. No thanks. How's Brock McGinn doing for them? He's fucking doing better than Kapanen is, or at least close to it. Edmonton, Josh Brown, no thank you. Florida. Okay, so Florida's looking to move people. They have no cap space whatsoever. So as nice as Mackie Smoskovich would be, because the name's incredible, they have no cap space. We can't work with them. LA, Iafallo. Ooh. Okay. I mean, Iafallo for that cap hit's pretty damn good. They got Philip Deneau, they got Victor Arvidsson. Iafallo really is a defense-first forward, though. He's almost a better version of Aston Reese. And Arvidsson and Philip Deneau. We can keep an eye on LA. I do think that in terms of forwards, that Keller is still probably our best option for already established forwards so far. But LA is an option, and they do have cap space. Minnesota, Fiala would be nice because he's an RFA, but we wouldn't be able to play him until next year. If his value was lower, I'd go for it. Ryan Hartman doesn't really fit what we're looking for, nor does anybody else. I don't know why they signed all that trash, but go ahead. That's why good players get dropped to the free agent list, because they sign all of this trash. Montreal, Norlinder. They have no cap space, though. Damn. Nashville, how much cap space do you have? Because obviously there's some interesting prospects here. They don't have enough. We'd have to take on Ryan Johansson to make anything work, and I just don't think we can. Either that or, yeah, they really don't have anybody. Like Brett Connolly, Phil Myers for the rest of the year. Myers would be a recuperation project because he has a third pairing defenseman, so he's not actually a 75. And the problem is they don't want to trade Connolly or Myers, so their value is actually higher. I don't think we can make that work with Nashville, unfortunately. New Jersey, Mukamadulin, Corey Stillman. Corey Stillman? Not Corey Stillman, Chase Stillman. I always want to say Corey Stillman every time I see him because that's his dad. Mukamadulin, Stillman, Clark. Vero's out there as well. New Jersey has some good prospects, and they do have a little bit of cap space. About the same, actually a little bit less than Boston. But there are some interesting names out there for prospects, at least. For the New York Islanders, Simon Holmstrom, Gaucher, Sam Bolduc, Bodie Wild. Again, though, such little cap space. Under $2 million. And outside of a Josh Bailey recuperation project, damn, that's a lot of cap for Josh Bailey. Yeah, outside of Josh Bailey, there's not an easy acquisition to kind of drive down the price. But Bailey, along with some of those guys, could be a decent option. You know, you take on Bailey to get some of the other prospects. It could work. The Rangers are moving prospects, but again, they have less than $1 million in cap. There's basically no way that's going to work. Yeah, we'd have to take on Barclay Goodrow's deal for the end of time. So yeah, that's not going to work. I mean, like Jason Spezza and company too, but yeah, it just doesn't work. Ottawa, not really moving top-notch prospects. Philadelphia, not moving anybody I'd be interested in at all. San Jose, no thank you. Seattle, no thank you. St. Louis, no, not moving anybody that we'd want. Tampa, Gage Goncalves and Logan Cooley. But again, they have no cap space at all. And no easy deals to acquire. Toronto's moving Muzzin and Brody, which is insane. Topi Nemela's looking to get moved. Abramoff as well, but yeah. Vancouver, nobody. Vegas, Zach Dean, who just signed his ELC IRL. Also, I mean, the Chandler Stevenson Reclamation Project. Ooh, man. Picking up Keller and Stevenson? That could be nice. And then we try them out in place of Pavelski and Giroux and see what we have. I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that at all. The idea of Keller and Stevenson, just to see what we have, that could work out very well. And then they also have Dean. I wouldn't want Alexi, but they also have Dean and prospects. That's interesting for our last two trades, Arizona and Vegas. The one issue is that Vegas has no cap space, as numbers pointed out. But they do also have Evgeny Dadonov, who's on an expiring deal. And we could take that $5 million easy. So Dadonov and Stevenson. Dadonov gets to be a player for this. I'm going to go with Kings. Thank you for the follow. I think, not to sound so dismissive, I think we could make it work. Because they want to get rid of Dadonov for dirt cheap. So Vegas can work. They also have Del Zotto. Vegas can work. Arizona, I think, can work as well. To get players that could be good beyond this year that aren't just strictly prospects. And then Alexiev's not bad, but no thanks. And then Winnipeg. Winnipeg in terms of prospects. But again, they have no cap space. And in terms of easy to acquire deals, they don't have any easy to acquire deals. So Winnipeg's out. Winnipeg is out. What's Perfetti's value? It's up there. I mean, obviously, he's good. So, in terms of NHL-ready guys, I mean, it's either Clayton Keller on Arizona, which I like. There's the Vegas option or the LA option. And I think the Vegas option's better than the LA option. As much as I like Iafallo, we're talking about much cheaper values here and maximizing return. So, it's Keller and Stevenson for NHL-ready guys, or we go to either Boston, Colorado, New Jersey, or the Islanders. I think it's got to be the Stevenson deal and the Keller deal. I think it's got to be. So we'll go to the Arizona Coyotes. We want Clayton Keller. Considering for how much he's signed for, 50% is what this deal is contingent on. We do not do this if they refuse to retain salary. We simply don't. They have to retain salary on Clayton Keller. You did it for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. You can do it for Clayton Keller. Now, obviously, in this deal, we are looking to get rid of some of our underperforming guys who won't come back next year. We're pretty much looking at Claude Giroux and Joe Pavelski to be the catalysts of these deals. And obviously, too, we could add guys like Teddy Blueger, Kasperi Kapanen into the mix, both of which haven't really done all that well. I mean, Cappy's done well this season. Teddy Blueger, I mean, they've also done well, but is it enough? You know? Aston Reese can be used here because we haven't played him all season long, so now would be the time to get rid of Aston Reese. And you could also argue Drew O'Connor, who we also can't get rid of. So really quickly then, to go back and look, Teddy Blueger's a UFA. He wants 2.2. It's not bad. I don't know what to do yet with Blueger and Kapanen. Our third line's probably been our most consistent line all season long. I mean, obviously we used Pavelski in one deal, we used Giroux in the other. But we bumped this back up. So for the Coyotes, not that I have to go off of what they're interested in, but they are interested in Aston Reese, who will definitely be a part of this deal. And while they're not so much interested in either Pavelski or Giroux, I'm going to look to use Joe Pavelski here to send him back out west. And if they can afford it, I want to pack as much into this as possible. I don't mind if we're technically losing the deal off of trade value. I want to make it worth their while. And they also had interest in Drew O'Connor. So they get Aston Reese moving forward. They can decide what to do with Pavelski and O'Connor. I would like to add... honestly, we can add in Andrew Ladd's contract. How much cap space do I have? We should be okay, because Stevenson doesn't even get paid that much. So yeah, if they want me to take the rest of Andrew Ladd's deal off the books, I can do that. I'll play Andrew Ladd on the fourth line for the rest of the year. I don't give a shit. And they are also looking to let go of guys like Adam Brooks, Michael Carcone, and Mackenzie McEachern. I would rather use Mackenzie McEachern, because he could be a fourth liner for us for the rest of the year. Like, just a solid, physical fourth liner for the rest of the year. Could Pavelski even go to Arizona? Oh shit, you're right. We gotta look at the bottom four. Let me take a look. Arizona might be bottom four. You're right. You're right. God, don't let Arizona be bottom four. Fuck. Alright, it's gotta be Claude Giroux to Arizona. It's gotta be Claude Giroux to Arizona. We got very lucky. There's good eye on that one, by the way. So yeah, Claude, have fun in Arizona, buddy. It was one or the other. Again, in terms of the value here, we will use Aston Reese. And I would also like to use Drew O'Connor. And on top of that, again, it's Clayton Keller on 50% retained. You're right, maybe, that we should avoid Andrew Ladd. He had 99 deking. A lot of players have 99 deking. It's the way I've set up my custom rosters. Most players have 99 deking. All right, so yeah, maybe you're right. Money-wise, well, I mean, money-wise, it should offset. I should still be able to take Andrew Ladd and be okay. But maybe it's not worth the risk. No, so we're allowed to use Giroux and Aston Reese. I'm not allowed to use Joe Pavelski. So again, we're trying to factor in no trade clauses, and Pavelski can't be traded to a bottom 4 team. So that's where we're at with that. Is this Riley Smith? It is. But you got to factor in, we're taking Keller, we're taking Stevenson, both are top 2, so we can't afford to take Riley Smith. McEachern makes a lot of sense. I mean, honestly, Michael Carcone and Adam Brooks could just be the tack on. Adam Brooks is a 4th liner, though, so if we're going to have to use Adam Brooks, we might as well just take Mackenzie McEachern. Correct, we're not allowed to play Aston Reese. Honestly, though, I can't take Andrew Ladd. He's a 4th liner and Puistonen's there. Unless we boost up Puistonen, which we won't be doing. So. Damn, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? We'll take Michael Carcone. We'll take Mackenzie McEachern. So they get Aston Reese for at least next year. They add Drew O'Connor and Claude Giroux. I do want to add a little bit more here. The value is obviously in their favor, but that's what I want. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I am only allowed 7 draft picks in a year. That is another rule that we have. So I am willing to also tack on probably a draft pick, if not a prospect. I mean, it's worth it for them that they're getting Claude Giroux, but it's only 1 year of Giroux and he's a veteran. Like, you look at this and it's like, okay, cool, what's the long-term investment for the Coyotes? They really don't get anything long-term. That's kind of the problem. So it's like I'd just be completely ripping them off. Could use Valtteri Puistonen in there if we had to. I was looking at giving them Calle Clang, yeah. Honestly, we signed this dude as a free agent. I don't really have an attachment to him. I also can't pronounce his goddamn name. So he could be a fair add-on to this deal. Well, I can't say his name, so fuck it, get rid of him. Cates is a 4th liner. Lucas Jacek is a depth guy. So, they get a prospect for the future. They get Aston Reese for the future. Drew O'Connor, they could do whatever they want with. Claude Giroux, they can do whatever they want with. I'm good with this. I'm good with this. I think that's a pretty fair deal given the circumstances of them wanting to get out from underneath the Keller deal. This would be our 2nd trade. We'd only have 1 more, and we know it would be Chandler Stevenson we're targeting. Clayton Keller, are you coming to Pittsburgh? Motherfuckers don't want to retain salary. Fuck. If I also give them Calle Clang. I don't want to get rid of Clang, it's a great name, but if I also give up Calle Clang. I know it's 6 years, but they're retaining on OEL. Clang's still not enough. If we take Drew O'Connor out of the conversation, and we replace Drew O'Connor Kapanen or Bluger would make a lot of sense here. It's like 10% on OEL, though. I don't give a shit. Retain, fuckers. There's a bunch of prospects that really don't want to give up. If we also add in Timo, that'd be too many people. It would say if they were already retaining on too many deals. I'm willing to throw a draft pick into the mix too. What about a third? Just trying to judge how close to the value we are. I'll drop it down to 45%. I'm not going lower than 40. This was the one holdup that could be there. Is the idea of Clayton Keller and them not wanting to retain salary. Fuck. Take out Drew O'Connor. Take out Jacek. Maybe. I might have to add him back. I wouldn't want to use the trade finder because I know they'd just offer shit that I don't want to get rid of. We can get this to work. We can get this to work. I know we can. And it's Andrew Ladd who's going to help me get this to work.
Are you sure you're okay, Ward?
Andrew Ladd's going to help us. We got to take on that salary. I'm hoping that the value of Andrew Ladd will be enough to push the deal over the edge. So Giroux, Aston Reese, O'Connor, Pietia, a second. Still no. Damn it. If we drop the price a little bit by a little bit. Okay. We're going to keep tinkering. We're going to get this to work. This particular prospect, I'm going to take out, but I'm going to add somebody else that they're interested in. Of about the same value, if there was anybody, and there's not. Really wouldn't want to give up Joakim Kamel. Really don't want to give up Lagare either, but it's probably worth it. Oh, what are we going to do here? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Trust me, I also wish there was a counter-offer system. Be nice to know how far away we are from this deal happening. Honestly, I'm not attached to William Wallander because we signed him as a free agent as well. It's the same logic. What if I use Wallander instead? And it'll basically be like they signed him. Still no. We'll go down to 45. Still no. Son of a bitch. 40%. Still no. We might not be able to do this. It might just end up being a bit too much. I mean, 35%. He's still. God, what is he making at 35%? The quick maths on this at 35%. He's still making under 5 mil. So I guess 30% would be the lowest I'd be willing to do. It'd be Clayton Keller on 5 million, which would absolutely suck. But it is what it is. We'll just go through. Fucking hell, man. If 30% doesn't go, we might have to reevaluate what deal we take here. Yeah. They're just not willing to retain enough to make it happen. Why not take on the full deal of salary? Because then it's going to be a bitch for us to try and trade. That's why. Because if I decide to get rid of it in the future, do you think it's not going to be difficult to trade? It absolutely will be if we have to get rid of them. God damn. Take out McEachern. We're going to take out O'Connor. Kamel and Salmonson are our best prospects. Anybody beyond that is expendable. I don't want to give up Ligare, but we might have to. What about Wallander and McIsaac? Both guys who should be on Detroit right now, so I'll add McEachern back in. I want to make this happen because it makes the most amount of sense. But at the same time, I mean, the easiest solution is to drop this down to easy because we know it's a fair deal, but like, this absolutely is a fair deal. I get the idea of like, oh, we don't want to retain on 50, but at the end of the day, it's fucking Arizona. They have 18 million in cap space right now. It's not like they use the cap space anyway. I'm willing to go down to 30%. It's the lowest we'll take. God damn. Come on. Still no. I mean, we're giving up. I've continually upped what I'm giving up in this deal. They get Aston Reese as a roster player to replace Keller. They get Wallander and McIsaac for the future. They get a second rounder. They get Claude Giroux for fuck's sake. Like, that is a fair deal. $2 million worth of retention or not. Like, that's a fair deal. If it was me abusing the AI, then whatever. But, that is true. I mean, I could try retaining on Claude Giroux to see if they're that dumb. Maybe I'll try that before dropping down the difficulty. Let's see. Let's see. So we have Keller. We have McEachern. We have Ladd. I want 30 to 50% on Keller, ideally 50. The lowest we'll take is 30. We'll bump that up. I did not expect this Keller deal to take this long, but we have Aston Reese. I'll bump O'Connor back in. Well, maybe not. I mean, they want O'Connor, but I can't use him, so we might as well throw him in there. We're going to throw Claude Giroux back in there. And we also have Wallander and McIsaac. Maybe instead of a second. We will retain on Claude Giroux. This could complicate things with the Vegas trade, but we'll fucking figure it out. Honestly, we'd have to take out O'Connor to make that anywhere close to working. Let's also take on Michael Carcone. How close is this deal? Still not there. Look, the game is acknowledging that the value is there. It's just how fucking overvalued do I have to go? Like, if retaining on Claude Giroux's $3 million isn't enough, then like, goddamn. 45? Let's go 40. 41. This is such a pain in the ass. 35. And 30. I'm lowering the trade difficulty. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I don't care. I get the idea of like, oh yeah, they don't want to retain salary for that long. When you want to get rid of the contract, you would retain salary in that instance. Fuck this. I am giving them plenty. I am giving them plenty back in this deal. I have continually added prospects. I've upped the draft pick from a third to a second. Like, let's go. We're fucking doing this deal. We're having fun here, at the very least. I'm even willing to take back the fucking Andrew Ladd contract, for God's sakes. Which will probably fuck me over. Ladd and Wallander. You don't get Jared McIsaac now, though. Fuck you. You get O'Connor now instead of McIsaac, you fucks. Learn how to play ball. Oh, God. But we will give them Wallander, because he wasn't ours to begin with. We'll give him this dude's name, because he wasn't ours to begin with either. And now, you fucks, you get a third rounder instead of a second. Learn how to play ball. You are dealing with the stupid tax right now. You were stupid. You could have had a better deal. Now you get this deal. Shut the fuck up. Get out of my office. It's O'Connor, Giroux, Wallander, and a third for Keller, McEachern, Carcone, and Andrew Ladd. Fuck! Even on easy? Even on easy, it's not going? What the fuck? All right, Aston Reese better be enough to tip that over the edge. I swear to God. Why have the retain function if you can only get them to retain like 5% max? We'll retain 50% on Giroux. It's Giroux, Wallander, very finish, a third, and Aston Reese for Keller, McEachern, Carcone, and Ladd. I am going to blow this game up. I don't even own a physical copy. 45%. Thank you, Jesus. You saw the pieces, I'm sure. It's a done deal. Holy shit. Clayton Keller, welcome to the team. Please, God, be worth that amount of frustration. Holy balls. My God. Alright. Cool. So in terms of the forwards, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, sure, that's fine for now. Let's just go best lines, we'll fix it afterwards. We'll go to the Vegas Golden Knights, who, thank God, still want to get rid of Chandler Stevenson. We won't be retaining salary on Stevenson. His deal is fine. I will be, hopefully, maybe taking back Evgeny Dadonov to make this work. But we are going to be sending Joe Pavelski out their way. Vegas would be over the cap, which is okay. Because we can likely take back Dadonov. Even if I'm keeping the trade difficulty here. Fuck it. I know I'm going to give them a fair deal. I'm sick of this shit. I'm not dealing with the AI's nonsense anymore. But they can have Drew O'Connor. God damn it. They'll get Joe Pavelski, which will help them a lot. Hopefully they'll actually use him. Aside from that, I don't know if I can work out a deal for Zach Dean or anybody else there. It would be nice, but I don't know if I have the assets to necessarily do that based off of who I'm willing to give up. And I don't think I do. I think we'll just keep the deal and I'll take Chandler Stevenson away from them. Because there's really nobody else that I want to get rid of. Really nobody else. I mean, I guess you could argue Matty Phillips. Alright, so actually, hold on here. Let me do a little bit of research. So Stevenson is a second liner. Dadonov's a third liner. Let me do a tiny bit of research here. Just to make sure we don't get anybody that we can't use. So, if we look at this team with the forwards, it's going to be Crosby, Gensel, and let's just say Crosby, Gensel, Keller, Rust, Malkin, Stevenson. The third line stays the same, so if I get Dadonov, I won't even be able to use him. And then the fourth line is McEachern, Ladd, and either Puistonen or Phillips. It's pretty much what we're looking at. We do technically have these guys as fourth liners now. Ligari developed into it, so we don't have to play him there. And O'Connor is going to be traded. So basically, I can't get a top 9 player. If I get back Evgeny Dadonov, I can't use him. So it makes more sense to retain on Pavelski than it does to pick up Dadonov. If we can make that deal work. The money might not make sense. Let's see. I mean, I have plenty of cap space here. So how much can we retain? Alright, yeah, it's going to make more sense to just bring back Dadonov and not play him. It's not like he's getting played there anyway, either. So we'll use Dadonov. The immediate switch off is Drew O'Connor, since they want him. But the question is, too, I would also, I mean, if it's not Zach Dean, honestly, these 3 defensive prospects look great. The best of the bunch is Lucas Cormier, who can only play the left-hand side. There's Lane Hudson and Daniil Chayka. I'd want Cormier over Chayka. And if I could get Zach Dean back in this as well, I'd love to do that. It just depends on the value. Just depends on the value here and if that makes sense. Dean might be a bit too much, but we'll see what we can do here. Yeah, I think Dean's gonna be a bit too much. Okay, I mean, Dadnoff's a 3rd liner, so I couldn't use him on the 4th line, unfortunately. Yeah, I think Dean would be a bit too much. I don't really have the value to give up that I'm willing to give up to get him. But Lucas Cormier can be a decent little tack on in this deal, since value-wise, they're getting the better of me. I mean, like, Nickel would make sense because he was a random free agent signing. Nickel would make a lot of sense. Honestly, I don't necessarily want to get rid of Matty Phillips either. We also want Austin Strand, who hasn't even been that good for us. I like Austin Strand a lot. So it's Pavelski, O'Connor, Nickel, and Strand. We take away Stevenson and Dadnoff, free up a lot of cap for them heading into tomorrow. We're close to it. And we also get Lucas Cormier for taking $7 million of cap away from them. I'm good with this deal. I think that's a fair deal. I would take that if I was Vegas, a team that's looking to make the playoffs. I mean, you get, you know, Strand and O'Connor are useful, and Pavelski's an upgrade on Stevenson. Fair deal, done deal, and those are our deadline moves without actually taking part in the deadline. And I think, honestly, I'm good with that. We could have gone for prospects, but I think picking up Chandler Stevenson and Clayton Keller on half salary will really work out for us here. So we are good to go. I do need to call up a right D in the meantime, or technically a left D, because Manel can play either side. And we'll call up Cam Lee. He'll play due to the injury. I mean, if I lose him on waivers afterwards, it's not a big deal. He played okay for us previously. And then for the forwards, again, it is Crosby, Gensel, Rust, Malkin, Stevenson, Keller, Blueger, Zucker, Kapanen. Honestly, I can send Dadnoff down and just see if we lose him on waivers. McEachern, Ladd, and then either Puistonen or Phillips, one of which will be a healthy scratch because I don't want to lose the other. So we'll send down Dadnoff and Carcone. Dadnoff clears waivers, which shows you how bad of a situation that is. And we are good to go. So go best lines. We know that Letang is out for now. Prima has an 887. Ugh. God, we'll give him a little bit more of a chance, but I don't know if we're making the playoffs. And obviously, too, goal-wise, the Pavelski goal is up. So the question is what happens next. But Ladd has to play and McEachern has to play. Which means Valtteri Puistonen is going to end up being a healthy scratch, unfortunately, because neither Ladd nor McEachern can play at center. So we'll still have Zucker, Blueger, Kapanen. And then Keller can play either wing. Stevenson can play center or left wing. Honestly, I mean, Keller with Crosby and Gensel will give him a great chance. Stevenson's with Malkin and Rust. Like, the top six takes a bit of a hit, but also at the same time, it could rebound pretty damn well. Those are still good lines, and I mean, we could make the playoffs for all we know. We don't know how that bottom six will work out, you know, specifically that fourth line. And defensively, I mean, obviously right now we are dealing with an injury that is rather unfortunate, but we'll do what we have to do. And yeah, they immediately went up because they were traded. So it sucks that Valtteri Puistonen ends up missing out, but it is what it is. And then in the AHL, the only guy to really worry about taking out now, well, I guess there are a couple. Catcher, yes it is. We'll take Dadnoff out of there. We'll get Michael Chaput out of there as well for Jan Draws. We'll get Michael Carcone out for Ansons. And then at center, Anthony Angelo can sit out for Svechkovsky. So the AHL is still looking decent. Actually, we can get Zahorna out of there for, again, I'm not allowed to play Dadonov. I was going to say Carcone, but he was just as good. Defense now has Lucas Cormier, which is good. Masonius ends up sitting, and that's perfectly fine. So I think we're looking good. I think we did very, very well with the 3 trades that we used this year. Again, we had to be pretty savvy with the timing, but I think it worked out pretty damn well. Granted, the trades were a nightmare and a half. And now it leads into the back half of this season. We are dealing with injuries, but, I mean, adding Keller and Stevenson in exchange for Giroux and Pavelski, I think worked out pretty well. But getting rid of Pavelski automatically means that we miss out on at least 1 upgrade this year, and we still really need Crosby and Gensel to hit 80 points. We gotta hope Clayton Keller's the guy to get them there.